Hey there, Crystal Thompson here with the Studio Cadia project. We are creating this really fun card doing some tone-on-tone stamping and DIY backgrounds and layering using one stamp set and the one die from the Peony Trimmings. Stay tuned on how to make this card. Super simple, very basic supplies, and some coloring. All right, guys, let's get started with this project. For this, we're going to be using the Peony Trimmings. I have my stamp sets ready to go. As you can see, I have my little strips ready to cut out as well. These are from the Peony Trimmings die set. And I have actually left them all in one piece so I can die cut them out of white cardstock, and then I just keep all the pieces. We're going to be using the Just For You stamp set that is also ready to go on my acrylic block. Okay, and then I have the Peony Trimmings stamp that I have stamped and colored with Copics. This is a rose tone, and I felt it was paired nicely with some Stampin' Up! Sweet Sugar Plum. And then we're using the crumb cake with the crumb cake cardstock, a piece of vellum. Then we're using the April crystals. This is a variation of crystals. You got some clear and some beautiful iridescent white. You're going to need a Misty if you want to, or a large block that will fit your Peony Trimming stamp set. And then I have two colors of what would you call this? Paint. So if you don't have paint, you can use watercolors. So a gold and a white, and I'm using this Heidi Swapp gold, and then the Altenew and pure white. So you can achieve the same results with your watercolors. So let's begin. We have some tone-on-tone stamping first, and this is all. It's going to create some variations on patterns, and I'm going to be using the crumb cake for this. So I have this ready to go, and I like to, if I'm not going to be using my magnets on my cardstock, I like to use some purple tape, and all I do is create a little round little guy with the purple tape, and I attach it to the back. And then I can place them down, and that way I can stamp and then lift as well. So let me show you. So that's gonna stamp it, and then when I need to move it, I can just reposition. So again, this is just an easy way to be able to stamp using your Misty and not needing to use any of the magnets. I feel like my magnets always get in the way. So I have put my Peony Trimmings stamps really close to each other, and the reason why is that I wanted to create a pattern with them. And I'm using my Misty because I want to be sure that I grab the whole thing. So then I'm going to lift and flip. And as you can see, I'm not going to be needing to use this guy, so we're going to lift them. We're going to place this down. And we're going to be sure that they're really close. Okay, and then we're going to ink it up again. So again, you can use an acrylic block to do this. I'm just doing it on my Misty because I feel that it's a lot easier and it doesn't shift quite as much. All right, so that's what it looks like. So now you created a pattern out of your cardstock. So I'm going to bring in a piece of leftover printer paper, so scrap piece of paper. I'm going to grab my white paint. You can even create your own using some white acrylic paint, add a little bit of water, and then flick with your brush. So you can do it water and acrylic paint, you could do it with watercolors, or you can just have some white spritzer. So there's a lot of options to create splatters. Okay. All right, so we're gonna set that to dry, and that's the reason I moved on from the stamping directly to the spritzing. Now I'm gonna clean up my stamp set again, because now we're gonna repeat what we just did, but we're gonna do it on vellum. So again, create a little circle guy. Place it in the back. And then I'm just going to lift these guys. All right, and make sure that this one's nice and clean. And for this one, we are going to use the pink. In this case being the Sweet Sugar Plums. And it's just a pink that I thought would match very nicely with my coloring of Copic. So as you're creating this, think about your color selections. I usually am inspired by coloring my pieces and then going ahead and then picking out my colors. So we're gonna let this be because it's vellum. It's not gonna absorb it. It's just gonna take a little bit of time to dry. So I'm gonna hold it in the back. And that's just, again, another great way to utilize that little piece of purple tape. We're gonna grab some of that gold and I'm shaking it. I'm almost out. We're gonna flick gold on this as well. And I don't feel like you need to let it dry. If you add too much, it can grab the color because I am using water-based inks. I'm gonna set that aside. Let me bring it up to camera just so you can see it. Let's see if they're gonna do it. There we go, guys. It's very pretty and it's gonna look really nice when we put it over that craft cardstock. So as we wait for our other stuff to dry up, we're gonna stamp the Just For You out of that same Sugar Plum ink. And I have die cut my little strips out of that Peony Trimmings die set. I feel like even if you don't use florals, just the die set from that allows you to create these really fabulous little strips. So we're gonna go grab our stuff and begin putting our card together. All right, so we are ready to begin the assembly of our card. We have our first layer of that craft cardstock with the white splatters. I'm gonna use some very clear adhesive. This is Combo Mono Liquid. We're gonna grab our beautiful vellum cardstock that we had used and we're gonna try to center it and really allow some of that beautiful tone on tone inking going on. Be sure that your gold splatters are dry. Okay, next I'm going to add the beautiful rose Peony Trimmings, and this is what really inspired this color combination on this card. We got the craft and the pink, so then we're gonna add this right in the center. And I've added some foam adhesive to the back of that. And then last but not least, we have that gorgeous sentiment Just For You with some foam adhesive on the back as well. So now it's time to embellish. So I'm gonna grab my Studio Cadia glue, and this is white and it does dry clear. And I'm just going to add a couple little embellishments. I don't feel like it needs a ton of stuff just because you have the splatters and you do have all those layers of beautiful flowers. I'm going to grab my Studio Cadia embellishment wand and I'm going to use the clear beautiful crystals and then the iridescent on the other parts just so it doesn't take away from the whole look. It's going to give it just a little bit of glitter, shimmer, and shine, and put the whole thing together. Guys, that does it for me. Thank you so much for joining me today on this very quick tutorial using some cardstock, vellum, doing tone and tone stamping, and layering. Thank you so much for joining me today. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up and click subscribe below to get notifications of new videos. See you later.